Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel for another Stalker mod showcases. First of all, I would like to apologize as I'm a little bit ill, and you can probably tell by my voice as I'm still a little bit under. Anyway, for our first mod today, we have In Spite of Death in L Center. This is a mod for Stalker Call of Pripyat. It is not a standalone. It requires of you to have Call of Pripyat installed. So, In Spite of Death is the tragic story of a man who finds himself in a place called the Second Circle of Hell, the neighborhood of the ghost town of Pripyat. The protagonist, Major Alexander Dektyrev, is an agent of the SSB. As part of his battle group, he arrives at Zaton, a swampy backwater of the dead Pripyat River. His main task is to find an explanation for the series of mysterious events that have happened in the exclusion zone in the past 6 months. He must find out what exactly happened at the time when the barrier fell and the Stalkers rushed to the uncharted northern territories. It is necessary to understand exactly and why kept these dead lands under veil of secrecy for so long. Step by step, despite death, he will be able to approach the very door that hides all the answers to so many questions. And it depends only on him which key he decides to open this door with. So, for the features, we have the system of existing caches has been completely changed. The first class is based on non-removable personal backpacks with an initial random spawn through a script and random content with the probability of finding various notes and other documents in them. The second class is based on the original ones at one spawn point, removable backpacks with random content and the ability to display the contents of the cache when it's open through the guide menu, through the PDA. There are 25 caches in total. They're all scattered in different parts of the location. The standard spawn locations for open caches have been removed. The weapon system has been rebalanced. A course has been adopted to avoid cluttering up the modification and damaging the overall balance with extra weapons. The principle of adding more stuff. Mod creators didn't feel like adding a lot of guns, so yeah. Therefore, some rarely used samples were cut out, and those that did not fit into the general concept of modification. As a result, the number of samples used was reduced to 37 small arms. Replaced all the unique ones. The performance characteristics of the weapon are approximately given in accordance with the real parameters. Such characteristics as weight, rate of fire, muzzle velocity, and effective range. A special GUI weapon encyclopedia has been added with detailed information about each type of weapon. The outfit system has been changed. In the first version, a lot of extra pieces of armored suits were removed, which spoiled the overall balance. Many types of armor and helmets are not yet available to obtain and use, therefore you will not find greater abundance as it was before. This step is fully justified and perfectly fits into the general concept of the first chapter. Change the system of artifacts. This lies in the fact that almost all existing original artifacts were completely replaced with their book counterparts. That is, the basic principle was not to add, but to replace. At the same time, their properties were rebalanced by adding combinations of various variations of negative and positive properties according to the type of PM artifacts. With completely positive properties, we'll very rarely come across. So in order to use them, you'll have to carefully select their belt set in order to mutually neutralize negative effects. The system of medicine is streamlined. A lot of unnecessary drugs with duplicated properties were cut out. Instead, two types of individual first aid kits have been added. Their use involves working with a guide menu, which provides the opportunity to select one or another medicine that corresponds to the real filling of first aid kits. The booster system has been streamlined. Two types of army dry rations have been added to replace those cut out. Their use implies work with a guide menu, in which it is possible to select one or another product that corresponds to the actual filling of dry rations. Replacements of many standard boosters for military counterparts. Removed or blocked many original achievements. A few new ones have been added instead. Changing the concepts of some Stalker groups. A partial relocation of the location has been carried out. A course has been adopted to reduce the spawn of NPCs and some mutants. Introduce various secrets and Easter eggs that will be encountered during the passage. Among them are notes, documents, and Stalker diaries. Added the ability to create 6 types of artifact assemblies. At the same time, this can be done in 2 ways. Through dialogue with the Swamp Doctor, or manually using a special artifact converter. Well, that sounds fun. So far, some features of the base have been left and more streamlined, such as PDAs, personal flash drives, chargers, repair kits. Subsequently, they will be replaced and improved by their own scripting implementation. So, for what I played, the gunplay feels decent. Visually, looks a little bit outdated, to be honest. This is... I'm not going to say it's a very old mod, but it is one of the old mods, if you know what I mean. And the storyline actually looks very interesting. I played the, I think 1 hour or something, and it's like an extension for the original storyline, which is actually very interesting. And that's pretty much for this mod. Next we have Cracks of Truth. This is a mod for Stalker Shadow of Chernobyl. It is not a standalone, and it requires the Russian version of Stalker Shadow of Chernobyl 1.0004 installed, which a link will be in the description, as always. So, the plot of this mod is built mainly on human relationships, on how one or another can act in relation to this or that person. There are several moments in the game where you can shoot plenty, a kind of meat, but the plot does not consist entirely of tasks, find and kill. Sometimes you have to think with your head and get out of the situation without using weapons. Some quests will seem monotonous to you, but if you complete them all, you will see several unexpected scenes where the main character is not the most important figure. So for features, we have new well-designed quests. When passing some quests, you need to turn on the logic. The plot is present in absolutely all locations. Well, that's interesting. Removal and modification of original content, characters, dialogues, complete cutting off the original storyline. Some locations have undergone a total resettlement. The fates of some characters known from the prequel Clear Sky and the sequel Call of Pripyat are revealed. There are also characters from the Stalker book series with their stories and destinies. There are some characters from other mods. The dialogues are written in accordance with the characters of the characters. Some of the dialogues have been rewritten more than once. Some NPC names may be the same as those from other mods or books, but this does not always mean that they are the same character. The balance of the game has been radically changed in the direction of complicating the gameplay. Even such an insignificant moment as a flashlight that works only when placed in a slot makes it very difficult to survive in the zone. Trade has also changed. Almost all weapons and body armor can be bought from the hucksters from the very beginning, but no one will give you money for this just like that. Traders have been added to new locations, that is good news. Many new factions have been added, about 10. Basically, these are gang formations and groups of stalkers. Well, only one gang led by Borop cannot be in the zone due to the truce between duty and freedom. The observers of these groups have been added to the large bases of both groups. You will learn about other factions by going through the modification. New locations: Dark Hollow, Laboratory X20, Military Laboratory, Dead City, Generators, Dressing Room, and replaced some of the levels with older versions like the Garbage and the Antar. Stalkers have become smarter, added carved monsters and body parts, Bioradar, Repair Kit, new NPC visuals, and new loading screens. So for what I played, the gunplay feels decent, although the first gun that I bought is actually pretty terrible. In terms of accuracy, in terms of damage, I think it's actually pretty effective. And the storyline actually looks very interesting. This is a very promising mod, just like the previous one. And that's pretty much for this month. Next we have episodes of Merck's life. This is a mod for Stalker Clear Sky. It is not a standalone, and it requires Clear Sky to be installed. So this mod is about a short story about a simple hired stalker. The plot is unobtrusive. You can do it, but you cannot. The plot is simple, even very simple. But as it was said, you are not forced to follow it. So don't expect, plot twists and stuff like that. So, a new story. Artifacts get cheaper. Anomaly detectors. Roving repairmen. New features for current and cut monsters. Sleep, etc. A few extra levels. X18 and 2 that were customly made by the mod developer, and new weather. So for what I play, the visuals are vanilla. Gunplay feels a little bit different, maybe not vanilla, but I don't know how to explain it. Also depends on the guns that you use, but definitely not vanilla. And the storyline, yeah, it's interesting. It's different. And that's pretty much for this mod. And finally we have New Time Mercenary's Fate. This is a mod for Stalker Shadow of Chernobyl. This mod is not a standalone. You will need Stalker Shadow of Chernobyl 1.006 installed. The events of this mod will unfold in just 8 locations. You will have to play as the Mercenary S.T.A.L.K.E.R. The plot in this mod is completely linear and step by step, telling the story of New Time from S.T.A.L.K.E.R's point of view in a compact and condensed way. You'll meet new characters and old acquaintances in the New Time fashion. One new location has also been added, partially populated and with plot actions on it. The mod has a change of seasons as well as a change of heroes. Well, that sounds interesting. Features. The remaster replaces the Red Forest location with a high quality one without lighting errors. Car settings have been changed and new vehicles have been added. Fixed some dialogues and tasks. Added NPC model Wolf Bandit. Added slow motion time activated on caps lock. Fixed and added cutscene animations. Fixed weapon and binocular textures. New intro video, new UI, and added minigame drift. So, for what I played, this one is a really tricky one because I wasn't able to go very far as I probably didn't install it properly, and therefore I wasn't able to progress a lot, but the storyline looks interesting. The gameplay feels realistic, I would say, more or less. And the driving is awful. I hated it. The music is also awful. I'm sorry, but that kind of music is not for me. But yeah, well, it's still a good mod, and it still deserves a try. Anyway, as always, the download links will be in the description, not just for the mods, but also the translations. Well guys, and that's all for this month. As always, I would like to give a shout out for the Sea Consciousness group for their work with the translations, as if it weren't for them, there would be a lot of mods that we wouldn't be playing. Anyway, as always, the download links will be in the description. Hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. Thanks for watching, stay safe and stay well, and I'll see you guys next time.